Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. As we were discussing in the front of the room, we're hoping that the sugar that you have all consumed will play its way into the energy that we want to have for this next panel, and the coffee. So now we're here to talk about AI and innovation for sustainable and smart cities. In some ways, it is a consolidation of what you've heard today. We've talked about data, we've talked about collaboration, we've talked about infrastructure. We're going to bring it all together now. To start us off, we have 3 fireside chats. I welcome on stage Pelle Bokedal, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Global Sales, Consat Telematics. Pelle. Thank you. Next, Mikael Emtinger, CTO and AI developer, Tjing, like ka-ching. And last but not least, Rupali Deshmukh, Country Manager, India for IVL. So they're going to speak and give you a scene setting, 5 minutes each, before we start our panel discussion. I believe Rupali will be taking my center stage, but before that, Pelle, we start with you.
Thank you, and I think this is working right. Yeah. My name is Pelle Bokedal. I got my first computer when I was 11. That's a little bit more than 40 years ago. Took a Master of Computer Science at Chalmers in Gothenburg, as you might hear, and a second Executive Master of Technology Management a decade later. I've been with the Volvo Group for nearly 25 years in many managerial positions across the world. I've worked with colleagues in India for more than 15 of those years. I've also been a couple of years in Ericsson, heading 5GC core plane development. And you have no idea what that is, but it's actually the session management function which steers everything in 50% of all the phones globally. So it's pretty cool to have worked with that. And I've always had 2 or 3 titles. That's been a common theme. Strategy, process, IT, systems, architecture, telematics. So right now I'm the Chief Strategy Officer, Head of Global Sales and Cybersecurity, Information Security Officer at Consat Telematics. And we deliver public transport to some 120 cities around the world. We have 60% of all buses in Norway, 40% in Sweden, 50 installations in Canada, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne in Australia, Latin America, and also the Middle East. And what is an intelligent public transport system? I brought a single slide here, so if you bring that one up. It's public transport authorities, the cities. It's the operators of buses, trams, ferries, often competitors. It's the vehicle manufacturers and the bodybuilders building the buses and trains and so on, right? And then it's all the companies who deliver planning tools, visual experience with commercials and what have you. And in the middle we have the passengers, the ones we want to ride with our buses and trucks, right? And the enabler here, it's long-term partnerships. It's like 10 to 20-year experience that you go on when you go into a city and you work with the IT. We have been in Gothenburg for more than 40 years. But we're also then with many other cities around the world. And some of the more progressive ones, they are really pushing it. In Oslo, if the bus is not reporting every second, the operator gets a fine, and a rather big fine. In Gothenburg, if the bus is 30 seconds too early or too late, it's red on the map. That's a little bit different from India, I know that. But in India, you anyway want to know if the bus leaves or not. And to spend 30 seconds on a use case then, we see electrification all around the world. And driving an electrical bus is a completely different thing versus driving a diesel bus. You need to charge it, you need to have the right charge, whether it's warm, cold, batteries are getting old, The driver drives differently. Is it hilly? Is it flat? You need to know the real-time conditions of the city to make sure that your buses actually go all the way around. And at the end, the driver needs to plug in the charger so that the next driver will have a loaded bus. Also, you can't charge fully with all your buses because then you pull down the grid, even in Norway, where you have the cleanest and most energy in the world. It's a maximum charging of 2.1 megawatts. So I guess that's about my time, and we'll talk a little bit about some other aspects later on. Thank you.
Thanks, Pelle and Mikael. I think Pelle has kind of segued very cleanly to what you can take us through in terms of the role of AI when it comes to taking forward these discussions.
Yes. Hello, my name is Mikael. I've been coding every day for 36 years, so I'm also a true nerd. I'm also very, very curious about technology, and the recent 5 years I've been very interested in generative AI. So let's begin with a question. What's the price of intelligence today? Does anybody know? No? It's our salaries, right? So it's about 10k euro per month for a company. And what is happening now is that the price of human-like intelligence is dropping really, really quickly towards zero. It will drop to pretty much a Netflix account, I would say. And this means that probably all our systems and devices will very, very quickly become human-like. We will sort of expect them to be able to converse with us. They will be all-knowing, and they will be kind and probably quite funny. And not like the current system that we have today. Some time ago, I was in my car. I was a bit late, so I'm going to call my friend and tell her that I was late. So I asked it, call Karin Danielsson. And what it answered me was, calling Donald Trump. This is a true story, actually. And these sort of unbearably stupid systems, we will not use them anymore, basically. So the current system, like Pelle and the others make, they're really good at collecting a lot of data. You can analyze it, you can find patterns in them, you can use them for optimization. And they're rolling out on global scale, and it's really, really good for operators and the environment, and very, very good for the citizens, basically. But I think the opportunity now, and this doesn't just go for city management systems, but is to add this sort of human intelligence to them. And I think we will start adding new senses to them, senses that we think are like humanly unique, like hearing and seeing. And eventually, we'll sort of switch them on, and they, let's say, they come alive. And they will begin, just like we people do, to start reasoning about the data and actually start to make plans, maybe, and potentially even executing on those plans, all by themselves, no humans involved, which is pretty scary, but also pretty amazing, I think. You can maybe, like an example, there's some piece of trash in a crossing downtown somewhere, and the system notices that the cars are swirling around and avoiding it. And what does it do? Maybe it just picks up the phone and, locates a human operator that is close to this crossing and calls him on the phone. Like, hello, Joe. I see that you're close to the crossing on Main and High Street. There's a little bit of trash there. Can you go and pick it up? Okay. How's your dog? Is it fine? I heard it was sick. Okay, that's great. Cheers. And hangs up. And this is maybe, you maybe think this is a long time into the future, but actually just 3 weeks ago, OpenAI released their new O1 model, which is basically the first model that can reason and plan And just yesterday, they released an open source framework called Swarm, which is their first step towards agents that they actually go out and do stuff for you. And I think this is going to happen on a broad scale. And even for me, this thinking about those subjects every day, it's really, really hard to like wrap your head around what does this actually mean for the future, for you know, in the big and in the small. I don't know, but I think and hope that we can all figure it out together.
Thank you. What I take away from this is Donald Trump's on your contact list?
Yeah, we had a good talk and he's coming. But
So we had Pelle talk about stakeholder engagement, and you were talking about predictive ecosystems and where we're going in terms of deployment and real-time conditions. We have Rupali now to give us the here and now of where we can go. Rupali, absolutely.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible, right? Yeah. Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, India Unlimited, Embassy of India in Sweden, and SIBC for arranging this fantastic event. My institute, IVL, is proud and happy to be partner for this 11th edition of India-Sweden Innovation Day. Today, I'm going to talk about how and what is necessary to create a resilient, resource-efficient urban ecosystem. I am a person who don't like to talk about problem, but it is very important to understand what challenges city is facing. So just quick overview on that. We know that cities are under a tremendous pressure due to urbanization and global warming, of course, climate change. And these are the issue, the main issue. But as statistics suggest, 70% of CO2, global CO2 emission comes from city. It is very, very important for us to understand which vertical within the city is contributing to this CO2 emission. Coming back to urbanization, what urbanization is leading to increase energy demand, water demand, increase in wastewater generation, increase in a waste generation, and the list is go on. It's very big. I don't want to talk about that now, but we all know. Climate change, not unnecessary, the unpredicted weather, extreme events, cities are getting severe impacted. So this is the situation. And our goal is to create a sustainable, resource-efficient urban ecosystem. How do we achieve that, or how do we reach there? You know, for this, we need a lot of innovation in different verticals within smart cities or cities. And then we can create a smart city. So what are those? We need innovation, we need critical thinking, and we need smart execution when we bring the right technology or advanced technology to handle those crises. Very important, we are going through this climate emergency. We need a right solution at right time. So now I will, what I feel, it is very important that we do the smart execution. When we execute the solution for certain vertical or sector for the cities, it should complement other sector or other vertical within the cities. I don't know if you get it, but I'll give a quick example. If I am doing some work to handle the wastewater for the city, what we feel wastewater is a burden, or wastewater treatment facilities are burden to us. But I think we have to move away from that mindset. Wastewater is a resource. So just what we need to upgrade the technologies, and we should know the goal of what we are going to use that water for. We want to close the loop. Wastewater should be a resource where you generate the energy, you generate the nutrients, and then the effluent coming of a good standard. What purpose you want to use that effluent for? Do you want to use for non-potable use or potable use? If you are using MBR technology, then you have to add polishing step for non-potable use like RO. Then it is good to go for industry or agriculture. If you want to use for a potable means drinking purposes, then you of course need to add extra step like carbon, activated carbon and UV rays. So these are the things. But same time, then your water is sorted. But then what else we can do it? We have to make this energy neutral, and we have to cut down on CO2, because greenhouse gas effect from today's wastewater treatment plant are too high. We want to cut down. How we can do that? Generating energy. Anaerobic digester, if we add, we can make the wastewater treatment plant safe, sustainable with respect to energy. Same time, if energy is going down, then we can go for co-digestion and generate a more energy. Co-digestion means bringing a waste, organic waste from slaughterhouse or any organic waste and generating more energy. This energy could support, means the water sector could support the another sector within the cities, it's the transport. So you can use the anaerobic digester to produce a biofuel and say, help transportation to go down on their carbon footprint. So this is the way we need to bring it. That is called smart execution. Another quick example I would like to, I know I'm running out of time, but just a quick example, like we have this waste to energy. It is very, very important that we switch to waste to energy to handle or reduce the pressure on landfill. But the business model is not attractive. So we have to go for waste heat recovery, which we will talk in a panel discussion. I know we don't have time, but policy and institutional framework also, we need to bring this change in a society. And I can leave this for a panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rupali. So there's very different points of view that have been put forward before we go into the panel discussion to bring this to light.